Thank you. All right, let's get started then. So Garrett, why don't you start off by telling us your story and how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, sure. Um, well, I'm an accidental entrepreneur. Never thought I would, be living the life of an entrepreneur, but I went to college and went and got a corporate job like all of us did, or many of us did anyway. And after about a decade, I literally woke up one morning and I was like, I hate this.
Mm.
And that was, my journey. A lot of people loved their jobs. I just didn't like it. And that was all I knew. I didn't like it and I needed to do something on my own. I had no idea what that would be. So at the time I was in, kind of like, my just past mid 20s, 27, had a 401k with like 15 grand in it, cashed that in, felt like I was rich, you know? And there were two things. I had an aquatics background, or I have an aquatics background. So I decided, all right, I'm going to teach swimming lessons. So I spun up a swim school in the county,
Mm.
and wrote a little curriculum and started teaching kids how to swim. That turned into a little water safety program that I sold to school districts. And then that was not enough money to live on. So another thing I loved was photography, even though I never owned a camera. I loved photography. So I bought a camera and started taking photos of everything, everywhere, all the time.
Nice.
And that ended up becoming taking photos of people.
Mm.
Long story short, the photography thing took off. It took off pretty well. And so I ended up through lots of, trial and error and education, shooting professionally. And I did that for 10 years. And about 8 years into that, at that point, had shot 350 weddings, had a team of 7 people. The inflection point of the digital media era showed up, where all cameras became digital.
Yeah.
And film died overnight. All the film labs shut down. And so suddenly we became the lab and the studio. So that was a conundrum. I went and found somebody to help us solve that problem. We created a digital lab for our studio. I forecasted that probably was going to be an epidemic in the world for all photographers. So 2 years later, launched world's first digital media photography lab that was based using the internet.
Nice.
And that led me on a journey to scaling that business worldwide, serving 35 countries, over 500 employees, building a sister company to support the effort to be vertical, and which then led me up to 2 years ago, deciding for my next tour of duty, what did I fall in love with over those years?
Mm.
And that was how to scale business in a way that brings wellness to the people in the business, but also supports scale and growth for the business too.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the launch of Clarity Ops, which we've talked about. And here we are.